Bone Spears and Starships presents The Last Gambit, Act 1, Prelude to War. S1. Commander Jack Harlan stood at the heart of his flagship, the USS Vanguard, immersed in a flurry of virtual enemy fire. The bridge hummed with the tense energy of a combat simulation, officers barking orders and screens flickering with rapid maneuvers. Jack, calm and focused amidst the orchestrated chaos, demonstrated his mastery over space warfare tactics, his commands crisp and decisive. Suddenly, the simulation froze, replaced by the urgent tones of Earth's high command. "Commander Harlan," came the stern voice of Admiral Hayes. "We've received a distress signal from the Eridani colony. It's under attack." Jack's eyes narrowed, the weight of command settling upon his shoulders. As he prepared to redirect the Vanguard, his mind raced through humanity's precarious position in the cosmos. In just a few decades, humans had ventured into interstellar space, establishing fragile alliances with various alien species. These relations were tenuous, threatened by misunderstandings and the lurking envy of older, more established civilizations. This distress signal was more than a call for aid. It was a test of humanity's resolve and its ability to stand firm in the galactic arena. As the stars blurred into the streaks of hyperspace travel, Jack faced the stark reality. The survival of human outposts, scattered like fragile islands among the stars, hinged on the decisions he was about to make. The USS Vanguard sliced through hyperspace, its engines humming a low, relentless dirge as it raced toward the remote Eridani colony. Inside, Commander Jack Harlan stood motionless, staring into the pulsating tunnel of light that stretched ahead. His mind churned with scenarios, each more disheartening than the last. Jack had always felt a profound duty to protect human endeavors in the cosmos, a sentiment that now gnawed at him with every light year they crossed. What would they find? Had they been quick enough to offer aid, or were they merely chasing shadows? Upon emerging from hyperspace, the grim reality unfolded before them. The colony, once a bustling outpost on the galaxy's edge, was nothing more than a charred skeleton. Buildings were reduced to rubble. Emergency systems flickered weakly amidst the debris. There were no signs of life, just eerie silence where there should have been rescue alarms and the hustle of survival efforts. Jack's jaw clenched as he surveyed the devastation through the Vanguard's main viewport. This was no accident, it was annihilation. The stark brutality of the scene ignited a fierce anger in him, tempered by a resolute determination. These were his people, and their obliteration demanded not just answers, but retribution. "Set up a perimeter," he ordered crisply, the resolve in his voice steely and commanding. "I want every piece of evidence secured. We're not just mourners, we're avengers now." His eyes hardened, reflecting a new, implacable resolve to bring those responsible to justice. The Galactic Council chamber, a grand arena encircled by panoramic views of deep space, hummed with the arrival of its diverse members. The Aquarids floated in their water-filled hover tanks, bioluminescent tendrils gently swaying. Beside them, the Silicoids, their rock-like forms almost blending into the stone of the chamber itself, radiated an aura of enduring strength. The Myconids, with their spore-clouded air, communicated in subtle fungal wafts, while the Electrix flickered in and out of visibility, their forms crackling with raw energy. Completing the assembly, the Zephyrans drifted, their gaseous forms contained within shimmering suits, casting playful reflections on the walls. As the meeting commenced, the air grew tense with accusations. A secretive faction within the Council had presented manipulated data, pointing to humanity's alleged transgressions against a peaceful outpost. Each species, swayed by the doctored evidence, voiced their support for severe measures against humanity. Travel restrictions and economic blockades were proposed, aimed at stifling human expansion and undercutting their survival in the galaxy. Commander Jack Harlan watched the proceedings from the USS Vanguard through a secure live feed. His expression darkened as one representative after another endorsed the sanctions. The weight of each vote felt like a betrayal, not just of diplomatic trust but of the very ideal of justice the Council was supposed to uphold. As the final vote was cast, Jack's frustration boiled into a fierce resolve. They expected humanity to cower, to retreat into the darkness of space. But he knew better. Jack turned to his crew, his voice resolute. Prepare for a response. They've underestimated us. This decision marked a pivotal shift, from defense to a calculated counterstrike, galvanizing his next moves in the cosmic chess game unfolding. In the strategy room aboard the USS Vanguard, a holographic map of the Galactic Council's territories hovered in the center, casting an ominous glow on the faces gathered around. Commander Jack Harlan stood at the helm, his gaze sweeping over his trusted advisors and military strategists. The room buzzed with a palpable tension, each member keenly aware of the stakes at hand. Options, Jack stated simply, his voice cutting through the murmurs. One by one, strategies were proposed and debated: diplomatic overtures, defensive postures, guerrilla tactics. None seemed to match the gravity of the situation. With each passing moment, Jack's resolve hardened. "We strike at their heart," he declared, silencing the room. "Direct action against the Council itself. It's bold, yes. Risky, certainly. But decisive. We show them that humanity will not be cornered." At this declaration, Dr. Zheng, a figure known more for his scientific acumen than his combat prowess, stepped forward. "Commander, I can get us the intel we need." Liam's plan was to infiltrate the Council's core world under the guise of a diplomatic envoy. "It's going to be dangerous," he added. "I'll be right under their noses. If they discover me, it won't just be a mission failure. I likely won't make it back." Jack met Liam's gaze, seeing the resolve mirrored in his own. "Dr. Zheng, your courage could very well be what turns the tide for us." He placed a hand on Liam's shoulder, a gesture that spoke volumes. "We all bear burdens in this conflict," Jack continued, his voice imbued with the weight of command. "Yours might just be the heaviest. Prepare yourself." As the meeting adjourned, Liam lingered, the gravity of his task settling in. Jack approached, his expression solemn. "Make no mistake, Liam," he said quietly, "you're not just going into the lion's den. You're walking into the maw of hell itself. We'll do everything we can to support you from here." The scene closed with a heavy silence, the stars beyond the viewport watching indifferently, as two men contemplated the dark paths before them. Act 2, Gathering Storm. Dr. Zheng's shuttle descended into the bustling metropolis of the Council's core world, its cloaking technology rendering it invisible to the casual observer. As he disembarked in a secluded area, his figure shimmered briefly before blending into the throngs of alien citizens. His attire, a meticulous blend of common fabrics found across the Council territories, allowed him to move unobtrusively through the crowd. Navigating the alien city required every ounce of Liam's cunning and technological prowess. His multispectral visor identified security devices and personnel, plotting a safe path through the intricate web of surveillance. He paused occasionally, pretending to admire exotic market wares while he discreetly deployed nanodrones. These tiny machines infiltrated data ports, siphoning off fragments of information and piecing together the security layout of the capital. Liam's primary target was the central data hub, a fortress of information guarded by the latest in alien technology. Gaining entry involved bypassing biometric locks that required a complex dance of hacking and physical dexterity. Inside, Liam connected his device to the hub, his fingers flying over the holographic interface as he navigated through layers of digital security. The alien network was a labyrinth of code and protocols, vastly different yet oddly elegant. Liam marveled at the architecture of it, even as he extracted critical data. His screen flickered with schematics, patrol routes, and, unexpectedly, sealed archives hinting at covert operations and suppressed scandals within the Council. A revelation that could shift the balance of power. Just as the download neared completion, an alert flashed. Security protocols had been triggered. Liam's heart raced as he initiated an emergency wipe of his traces. Slipping into the shadows, he evaded the approaching security forces, his mind racing with the implications of his findings. Every step back to his hidden shuttle was fraught with danger, the weight of secrets he now carried magnifying the peril of his mission. Commander Jack Harlan coordinated a series of precise, covert strikes from the USS Vanguard, targeting the strategic vulnerabilities of each Council species. The operations were designed to be swift and surgical, to disrupt but not destroy, maintaining a tightrope walk between aggression and genocide. Aquarids' water processing facilities. The first strike targeted the Aquarids' main water processing hub on their ocean planet. Specialized EMP torpedoes were launched into the planet's oceans, temporarily disabling the electromagnetic fields that powered the facility. The disruption was enough to cause confusion and halt production, but backup systems were left intact to allow for a quick recovery, minimizing harm to civilian life. Silicoids mineral mines. On a rocky asteroid belt, human operatives deployed seismic charges, calibrated to non-lethal levels. The charges triggered controlled landslides, effectively blocking the entrances to several key mineral mines. This temporarily cut off the Silicoids' access to essential resources used in their shipbuilding, forcing them to expend energy and time clearing the debris. Myconid spore networks. A biological strike was carried out against the Myconids. A specially engineered fungal inhibitor was released into the atmosphere of their farming domes. The inhibitor was designed to decompose quickly, but it temporarily disrupted the Myconids' agricultural spore networks, stunting crop growth without causing lasting damage to the ecosystem. Electrix's power grids. The human fleet used a series of coded cyber attacks to infiltrate the Electrix's planetary power grid. The attack scrambled the grid's logic circuits, causing widespread but short-lived blackouts. These were more an inconvenience than a catastrophe, designed to demonstrate vulnerability without causing irreversible harm. Zephyrans' atmospheric stations. For the Zephyrans, whose existence depended on carefully balanced atmospheric conditions, humans introduced a harmless gas into their air filtration systems. This caused temporary fluctuations in air pressure and composition, enough to trigger safe mode protocols, and shut down several major atmospheric stations briefly. Each strike was monitored closely by Jack, ensuring the balance between effectiveness and ethics. The galaxy watched, some with veiled threats, others with begrudging respect, as humanity demonstrated not only their capability for warfare but also their restraint. The tension across galactic networks was palpable, as allies and enemies alike reconsidered their stances on the human race, now undeniably a formidable force in the interstellar arena. Zheng's heart pounded as he crouched in the shadowy underbelly of the alien data center, the whirring and beeping of the massive servers echoing around him. The digital blueprint of the Galactic Council's security system was nearly in his grasp, the download bar on his device inching toward completion. Every second the transfer took, the risk of detection spiked. The alien network's security algorithms were adapting, evolving to counter his intrusion. Sweat beaded on Liam's forehead as an alert pinged softly from his device. A security scan was sweeping through the system, a net closing in on his unauthorized access. With a few rapid keystrokes, he redirected the scan, buying himself precious moments. But it was a temporary fix. The security protocols were now on high alert, and his window was closing fast. As the download completed, Liam faced a harrowing decision. Attempt to erase his digital footprint, risking further engagement with the system and potential capture, or disconnect immediately, leaving behind traces that could lead the Council's enforcers right to him. Weighing his options, Liam's mind raced. The success of his mission was critical, not just for his own safety, but for the future of humanity in a galaxy that seemed increasingly hostile. With a deep breath, he chose to erase his traces, his fingers a blur over the holographic interface. The security scan doubled back, its pace accelerating as it zeroed in on his location. Just as the deletion completed, Liam physically severed the connection, sparks flying from the port. He packed up his gear and slipped out, the echo of approaching security drones spurring him into a sprint. As he navigated his escape through the labyrinthine corridors of the data center, Liam grappled with the weight of his actions. Had his intervention pushed the Council toward a more aggressive stance against humanity? Or had he secured the necessary edge they needed to defend themselves? The moral ambiguity of espionage weighed heavily on him, a stark contrast to the clear-cut objectives of his mission. Every step back towards safety was shadowed by the ethical implications of his choices, leaving him to wonder if the ends truly justified the means. As the reverberations of the covert strikes spread chaos across the Galactic Council, Commander Jack Harlan seized the opportunity to deepen the fractures. In the Grand Hall of the Council's diplomatic quarters, he met with Zephyro, the Zephyran diplomat known for his conciliatory nature and a fervent advocate for peace. The room was filled with a soft, ambient glow, mirroring the Zephyrans' luminous, gaseous form, contained within his shimmering suit. Zephyro floated before Jack, his voice a soothing hum. "Commander Harlan, let us find a path to peace. This escalation serves no one," he pleaded, his tone sincere but tinged with a naivety that Jack was ready to exploit. Jack nodded, his expression somber. "You're right, Zephyro. Peace is the ultimate goal. But your council sees us as aggressors, not equals." He leaned forward, lowering his voice as if sharing a confidential truth. "What if I told you there are factions within your council who orchestrated this conflict, who manipulate perceptions to fuel their own agendas?" Zephyro's form wavered, disturbed. "That cannot be. Our unity is an illusion," Jack interjected smoothly. "Consider who benefits from human sanctions. Investigate the origin of the accusations against us." Jack's eyes were steady, his demeanor calm yet compelling. He placed a data chip on the table. "This contains evidence of manipulations within your council, not by us, but by those who wish to see us weakened." Zephyro hesitated, then extended a tendril, absorbing the chip. "I will consider your words, Commander, but this must be handled delicately." As Jack left the meeting, a slight smile played on his lips. He had planted the seed of doubt, setting the stage for internal scrutiny among the council species. By nudging Zephyro to question the council's integrity, Jack not only aimed to destabilize the alliance further, but also to buy humanity time to strengthen their position. This act of diplomatic subterfuge was a chess move in a much larger game, one that Jack played with a master's foresight, fully aware that each move brought with it new risks and repercussions. Act 3. The Final Assault. The air aboard the USS Vanguard was electric with anticipation as Commander Jack Harlan prepared to launch a full-scale assault on the Council's core world. The vastness of the human fleet filled the void of space, a formidable array of battleships, cruisers, and fighter squadrons, all bristling with weaponry and armored against the cosmic elements. Pilots and troops checked and rechecked their gear, running through pre-battle simulations, their faces a mix of determination and nerves. Jack stood before his crew, his voice resonant through the ship's comm system. "This is more than a battle. It's our stand for a place in the galaxy," he declared, his gaze sweeping over the assembled soldiers and officers. "Today, we fight not just to survive, but to tell the universe that humanity will not be underestimated or subjugated." As the fleet surged forward, breaking from hyperspace at the edge of the Council's system, the scale of the challenge became apparent. The Council's defense fleet loomed ahead, an array of ships as diverse as the Council itself, each species contributing their unique designs and technologies. Silicoid rock-armored destroyers, swift Zephyran cloud cruisers, and the eerie, glowing forms of Electrix shock frigates formed a formidable barrier. The first volleys were chaotic and spectacular. Human ships darted through enemy lines, unleashing torrents of laser fire and missile barrages. Alien ships countered with pulse blasts and energy nets, creating a dazzling display of advanced warfare. Fighter pilots executed dizzying maneuvers, weaving through explosions and debris, their craft lit by the eerie glow of shattered shields and burning hulls. Jack coordinated the attack from the Vanguard, his eyes on every skirmish, every tactical display. The initial clash was brutal and costly, but the human forces slowly gained ground, their adaptability and sheer grit turning the tide in skirmish after skirmish. The battle was not just a test of military might, but of human resolve against the collective power of the galaxy. As ships clashed and the void echoed with the thunder of cannons, humanity's message was clear. They were here to stay, and they would fight for their future with every ship, every soldier, and every breath. As the battle raged at the fringes of the Council's core world, Commander Jack Harlan initiated a daring gambit that showcased human ingenuity at its finest. The human fleet, seemingly retreating, lured the alien forces into a narrow asteroid belt. This was where Jack's tactical acumen shone. As the alien fleet maneuvered through the treacherous terrain, human ships, equipped with asteroid camouflage technology, ambushed them from hiding spots among the rocky debris. This surprise attack caused disarray within the alien ranks, exploiting their larger ships' inability to navigate the dense asteroid field effectively. Meanwhile, deep within the Council's capital, Dr. Zheng was enacting the critical part of their plan. Disguised in a maintenance uniform, he accessed the main control tower of the capital's planetary defenses. His hands trembled as he attached a small, unassuming device to the network, a quantum encryptor that began to silently override the security protocols. Each passing second was a risk of discovery, but the device worked flawlessly, sowing digital chaos in the defense systems. Back in space, as Jack watched the success of the asteroid ambush, he gave the order for the main fleet to advance. The alien fleet, now fragmented by the ambush, struggled to regroup. Human ships pushed forward, breaking through the weakened defensive line with a combination of high-speed barges and coordinated strikes from multiple angles. At the climax of Liam's efforts, the capital's shield flickered and failed, a moment that seemed to pause the universe itself. Liam, realizing the vulnerability he had created, sent the signal to Jack. Within seconds, a barrage of precision-guided missiles from the human fleet pierced the now defenseless capital. This decisive breach shattered the alien command structure, causing confusion and fear that rippled through their ranks. Jack's voice filled the comms of every human ship. Push forward. For humanity. Inspired by their commander's unyielding spirit and the visible crack in the alien defenses, the human forces surged with renewed vigor. Ships darted through the gaps in the alien lines, delivering crippling blows to their critical infrastructures. The tide of battle turned sharply as human ingenuity and bravery overwhelmed the advanced but now chaotic alien technologies. Each moment of the fight was a testament to humanity's resilience and tactical brilliance, marking this day as a pivotal chapter in their galactic saga. With the defenses of the Council's core world breached, Commander Jack Harlan faced a moment that would define the future of humanity among the stars. He issued the command for the deployment of Project Hammerfall, a massive kinetic bombardment system designed as a last resort. The weapon, a series of satellite-based rods, could be dropped from orbit, creating devastation equivalent to a nuclear strike without the radioactive fallout. As the command was given, silence fell over the bridge of the USS Vanguard, every crew member aware of the gravity of this action. The rods descended with celestial fury, piercing the atmosphere of the Council's capital. Streaks of fiery light split the sky as they impacted key strategic locations, the ground shuddering under the immense force. Buildings crumbled, and energy grids exploded in showers of sparks as the capital's infrastructure was systematically obliterated. From orbit, the destruction was both awe-inspiring and horrifying, a stark visual reminder of human capability and the destructive power they wielded. On the bridge, Jack watched the live feeds, his face a mask of stoic responsibility. The victory was clear, but so was the cost. Around him, cheers broke out, but they fell on ears deafened by the deeper implications of his orders. Jack felt a profound disquiet, a stirring of triumph over the strategic victory tempered by the grave awareness of what had been necessary. The sight of the crumbling alien capital, a place of culture and governance now reduced to ruins, was a heavy testament to the brutal necessities of war. In the quiet aftermath, Jack turned away from the screens, his thoughts heavy with the burden of command. He had achieved what many had deemed impossible, securing humanity a dreaded respect among the galaxy's powers. Yet, the weight of the lives lost, both human and alien, hung over him. This was not merely a physical victory but a moral intersection, challenging the very essence of what it meant to lead humanity. In the solitude of his quarters, Jack reflected on the path now chosen. The unavoidable darkness mingled with the light of survival. This duality would define the future, a future where humanity had staked its claim through fire and resolve. Epilogue, Aftermath and Reflection. The aftermath of the conflict reshaped the galactic landscape. Commander Jack Harlan, once a mere military leader from a fledgling spacefaring race, now found himself at the center of interstellar politics. His actions had catapulted humanity into a position of power, feared and respected in equal measure. The destruction of the Council's capital, while controversial, had effectively dismantled the old order, leaving a vacuum that new powers, including humanity, were quick to fill. As debates raged across the galaxy, Jack was simultaneously hailed as a savior of human interests and decried as a war criminal for the methods he employed. These conflicting views permeated every interaction, coloring his negotiations with other species. Some viewed his handshake as one with a strategist who had secured his people's place at the table by sheer audacity and strategic brilliance. Others saw in his gaze the cold calculation of a commander willing to go to any lengths for victory. Amidst this turbulent backdrop, a new council was proposed, a coalition of the remaining galactic powers with humanity as a key member. The formation of this new council involved intricate negotiations, with Jack often playing a pivotal role. His understanding of not just military tactics, but also of political strategy became crucial. He advocated for a system that, unlike its predecessor, would be founded on mutual respect and transparency, aiming to prevent the dominance or manipulation that had led to the previous conflict. The new council was a mosaic of the old and new, with representatives from both damaged and neutral systems. Humanity's role was central, not just as a military power but as a bridge between the diverging interests of various alien factions. Jack's insistence on equitable representation allowed smaller or previously marginalized species to have a voice, fostering a sense of unity and purpose. Despite these advancements, Jack's internal struggles remained. Leading his crew through this new era, he was both a mentor and a figure of caution. The respect he commanded was tinged with a wary distance, a reminder of the power he wielded. His decisions continued to be guided by a blend of human interest and a broader, more encompassing vision for peace and stability across the stars. This new galactic order was fragile, its foundations built upon the ruins of the old. Yet, under Jack's leadership, there was a cautious optimism, a belief that perhaps, out of the ashes of conflict, a more enduring peace could be forged, one that would allow humanity and its alien neighbors to explore the stars not as rivals, but as companions. The vast expanse of space stretched endlessly before Commander Jack Harlan as he stood alone on the observation deck of the USS Vanguard. Stars twinkled in the distance, each one a silent witness to the tumultuous events that had reshaped the galaxy. In the quiet solitude of deep space, Jack allowed himself a rare moment of introspection, the weight of his decisions pressing heavily on his shoulders. His gaze was drawn to a distant star system, its light flickering like a beacon. It reminded him of humanity's enduring spirit and the new role they had carved out among the stars. The victory had been costly, the peace tentative, and the future uncertain. As he watched the stars, Jack pondered the sacrifices made. Lives lost, worlds changed, ideals questioned. The balance between securing humanity's place in the galaxy and maintaining moral integrity seemed ever elusive. Turning away from the viewport, Jack's contemplation was interrupted by the soft chime of his communicator. A new message appeared on the screen, its contents hinting at a developing situation in a distant sector, a region where human influence was still contested and where their presence was not wholly welcomed. It was a reminder that peace was not a static state but a continuous effort. The message outlined preliminary reports of a potential uprising, possibly fueled by remnants of the old council's loyalists, or a new species feeling the pressures of the recent shifts in power. The challenges of leadership and diplomacy awaited, and the fragile peace he had fought so hard to establish was once again calling him to action. Jack straightened, a resolute glimmer in his eyes. The road ahead was fraught with difficulties, but also filled with possibilities. As he prepared to leave the observation deck, he felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was not just the continuation of his command, but the evolution of humanity's saga in the stars, a testament to their resilience and their unyielding desire to forge ahead, no matter the odds. The final image of Jack stepping off the deck, ready to face the new challenges, left a promise of more adventures to come, an echo of the ongoing saga of humanity's expansion into the cosmos. This closing scene set the stage for future stories, ensuring that the journey of Commander Jack Harlan and the USS Vanguard was far from over.